I think our dad married John Wick.
I've been a fan of both of yours for a while. It's always cool to get to talk to people you're a fan of.
Well, thank you.
So listen, I have 10 minutes, bunch of questions. I like throwing some curveballs at the beginning. I'm obsessed with getting more people to see movies in movie theaters. So I'm just curious, do you both have a favorite movie theater?
Ooh, Christina?
Well, I tend to be a convenience person, and right now I just
Closest?
I always take my son to the one at the Brand in Glendale, and it's a great. Oh no, not the Brand, the Americana. I apologize, the Americana in Glendale. That's our theater.
Mine is the. I would have to say it's the Westbury 12 or 6. What is that one, Scott? I have a little help over here on the side. If you can, yeah, it's the same thing. I have my theater. I remember from when I was a kid, when we were growing up. I used to go. This is the one we used to hang out with all the time. I mean, all the way growing up to high school, drink beers behind it, sneak in it, all of this stuff, and then we moved away. I grew up. I had a family of my own, and now I have a place it's a home. And near that home is this place, and that's the Regal Westbury, and that's the one I go to.
There's a lot of people who, if you can believe it, have not seen your work yet. They're younger, if you will. And I'm just curious, if someone's never seen anything you've worked on, what's the first thing you'd like them watching and why?
Oh my God. I would say just like go with the most current. So I would say probably this movie or Yellow Jackets.
There you go. Yellow Jackets is fantastic. So how about that? And then see this movie. Then come the guns up. I would say Yellow Jackets as well. And I'll tell you what, because then they would go there and they wouldn't know my work, but they would know the people that I like to work with. So they would see that and say, all right, now I get it. Now you know why I want to work with Christina. I would have them see, I don't even know, because these things change so much, and I don't know what the kids are into these days. So some of my earlier work might be goofy for them, or they might like it. I can't even predict, because I can't even predict with my own kids, by the way. See, I can't even, I say, hey, you're going to love this one. I did this movie I made here, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, and I go, okay, all right, let me try to, how about this one? Sometimes you just can't figure them out. So I can't figure out the kids.
I'll be honest, neither can I.
Okay, good.
Christina, individual question for you, and then I'm getting into why I get to talk to you guys. I am a huge fan of Speed Racer. Have been since I first saw it. Huge fan of the Wachowskis. If you don't mind, can you reminisce a little bit about working on that? Because I think it's an incredible film.
I loved working on that movie. The Wachowskis were amazing. We shot in Berlin. I was in Berlin for 3 months over the summer. The cast was really great. We were usually shooting in giant stages that were just entirely green, and there would be like a car, or a tram, and we would pretend everything was in your head and pretend. And so that was a little strange. But then my favorite thing about Speed Racer was getting to work with Chad Stahelski and Dave. Because because I was such a huge Matrix fan, and I was so obsessed with all the action sequences, as everybody was, and all I wanted to do was, and because I had stunt work, so I had to train with them, and I was so excited, and all I wanted to do was learn how to pick up a gun mid cartwheel. And they worked it into the fight scene for me, and then they trained me to do it, and it's just like one of the greatest things I've ever been taught.
A lot of people don't realize how many amazing second unit directors who went on to become big directors worked on Speed Racer. I've had this conversation, but let's move into why I get to talk to you guys. Speaking of action, you guys made this, and I know this was not made for some Marvel money. You guys made this on a budget, but yet this movie is wall-to-wall action. At what point were you when you get on set, were you like, how the F are we going to accomplish this in the schedule and the time we have?
Yeah, it's a great question. We thought that every day. I mean,
I was about to say that was about 10 a.m. every day, right? That we had that question.
And we were dealing with not only that. You remember the fires with the smoke?
Yes,
remember? Yes. So it was like we had everything thrown at us, and Honestly, I think those are when you come up with the best movies. The outcome is you're overcoming these obstacles, right? Because that's what they say it is. What do they say? Filmmaking is like just it's coming up with solutions to the problems. That's all it is, and that's what we did. These things would come at us each day. One of the things that helped us the most is how badass Christina Ricci is. That was the most ridiculous thing. That was we didn't know, and then we found out, and that helped it so much because that was one of the big questions, And if you don't have that, you can't fake it. It's just hard. It's hard to do that. So it's like we got that. We got a bunch of people working well together, and it was a tight budget. But you're right. The action was the most important thing. That it looked really legit, and I'm very happy to compete with these big monsters.
Yeah, by the way, thank you, Chad and David, for Speed Racer. It all ties together.
Yes.
That's right. I really called out all my training from 15 years prior.
Yeah, I actually want to ask you about a specific shot that I really liked. You guys are coming out of the doorway. It's in the third act. I don't want to spoil anything, but Christina, like this, the camera is centered. You come out and you beat the shit out of like 1,000 people. And Kevin, you're just sitting there watching, and everything is happening sort of off frame, partly in frame. It's a great shot. Can you talk about filming that specific sequence?
That shot was so smart. It was such a great concept. Edward is so clever. And the stunt coordinator, everybody was just so on point and so good. That was my first fight scene that I did on the movie. I was very nervous and worried that I was just going to make an ass of myself, and it all worked out fine. Everyone applauded for me afterwards.
Yes,
really quite a moment for me.
That was insane, and that was the moment kind of where I realize, I find out what, I don't want to give anything away either, but I'm kind of as in shock as the moviegoer is at that moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, your reaction is not acting. You're actually reacting to her pulling this shit off.
Dude, I could not believe it. And we did not have a lot of time to do it and a lot of goes. And I was like, whoa, and she was in there. She was it. I was like, whoa, but she did that time after time. I kept expecting, because I thought, like, I'm going to be so badass here. I'm going to do the scene by myself. And then looking over and expecting to see a stunt woman next to me. And it was Christine. I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? She was there.
We had so much fun though. And they kept like throwing in different sequences. Like all of a sudden they're like, okay, you're both back to back and you've got your guns out, you're a runner. Yeah. It's just like, okay. It was really fun. Like, and Kevin's so much fun to work with. And I think we were like kids having fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
And two people that really don't like to embarrass themselves. So we did a great job.
Kevin, I have to ask you an individual question. I'm so curious there's so many with King of Queens. I just have to say, like, is there a possibility down the road? Because a lot of things are being made now, like 10 years later, 20 years later, like Happy Gilmore 2 is 29 years after the first one. Is there a thought, like, after a certain amount of time about revisiting the characters? Or is it something that you're like, it was perfect, I don't want to retouch it?
It's I wouldn't say that it's perfect. It was a moment in time, I think. Like the King of Queens is weird because we weren't as popular when we came out. We did okay. We did good. But, there was Raymond and Friends and all these other office comedies and funnier shows and things. And they did much better than us. What blows me away is how well we've done when we've come out later in syndication. That I don't know whether it's because they just pummeled people with it and it got into their brains that way. But people now enjoy it, I feel like, more than ever. And to go back and to redo it, I just don't think, because we don't have Jerry. I mean, again, AI, if they do everybody and they're saying something where they can do you at any age.
But I actually think, like, what's the reason I think so many of these new things are working is because you're incorporating real time. Right. And so it's like, you could conceivably do something where Jerry is like talked about, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be work. I would never say no, but it feels hard because he is such, for me, it was such a part of it, man. He was the glue in that thing. And I don't know, I just can't even picture it. It feels like, I don't know, just a weird way to do it. Just why would you do that if you don't have him?
Sure. Christina, one last thing for you. I'm a big fan. I really enjoyed Batman Cape Crusader. You get to voice Selena Kyle and / Catwoman. What can you tease about any upcoming episodes in season 2? I think are you a part of it or are you not?
No, I did not get the call for season 2. I'm sorry. Sorry to say.
That is not acceptable.
Unacceptable.
I mean, we could start a letter campaign. I don't know.
Sure. I understand. Here's my last question for you guys. I think I'm just about out of time. You never really know how someone's going to be when you're working with them. Some people like music on set. Some people like to be like in their head and left alone. I'm just curious, what did you learn about each other in terms of the way you each like to work? Are you radically different? Are you kind of similar? Like, what did you learn?
I've told everyone that Kevin's like my favorite person I've worked with in forever and ever. What I learned is that we are pretty similar in the way that we work. And the thing that I loved so much was hearing old set stories from Kevin and finding out that he's like I'm really silly on set and I do really ridiculous things. And hearing all the stories, Kevin is just as silly and just as fun. And yeah.
To be honest, for me, I was a little intimidated working with Christina, and because she has crushed the world of indies and blockbusters, and she's just had a crazy career that way, and she's like obviously the cooler person in this equation, and I know that going in, but she didn't make me feel that like she was just like it was family right away, and that to me it just felt great. Like I honestly it's. When you have that and you have that comfort around you, you can try things, you can be goofy, you don't have to be embarrassed about, doing, and I think that's when you come up with your best stuff. So I thank her for making me feel so great in that thing and becoming a friend, and she's just awesome.
On that note, I need to stop. I'm just going to say thank you again. First of all, congrats on the movie.
Thanks.
And second of all, thank you for all the years of entertainment.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Stephen.